United States halts work with Russian Patent Office, while Russia lessens foreign intellectual property protections. United States halts work with Russian Patent Office, while Russia lessens foreign intellectual property protections. While the humanitarian crisis has received the most attention during the emerging situation in Ukraine, numerous other facets of the world economy, international relations, and daily life have also been affected. One surprising result has been the consequences related to intellectual property, IP, rights. As part of their comprehensive regime of economic and diplomatic sanctions against Russia and its allies, the United States and Europe have taken steps to limit engagement with Russian intellectual property officials. In response to these measures, Russia is now permitting the unauthorized use of foreign intellectual property within its territory and has largely eliminated mechanisms to remedy infringement. In this article, we will detail recent developments in the intellectual property space in the wake of the crisis in Ukraine and provide considerations for intellectual property holders to protect their assets in light of these events. United States disengages with the Russian Intellectual Property Office. Authorized use of intellectual property originating in unfriendly countries. In response to economic and diplomatic sanctions imposed by the United States and its allies, Russia has authorized the use of certain foreign patents without compensation or license. On March 6, 2022, Russia issued a decree permitting the use of patents for inventions, industrial designs, and utility models originating in unfriendly countries. These countries identified by Russia include Albania, Andorra, Canada, European Union countries, Iceland, South Korea, Liechtenstein, Macedonia, Micronesia, Monaco, Montenegro, New Zealand, Norway, San Marino, Singapore, Sweden, Taiwan, Ukraine, the United Kingdom, and the United States. This policy applies to patent holders who are nationals of or doing business in one of the identified countries. The Russian court system has also diluted foreign trademark rights. A Russian court has decided to allow the continued infringement of two Peppa Pig trademarks in response to Western economic sanctions. Entertainment One UK Limited, a subsidiary of Hasbro Incorporated, brought a trademark infringement suit against a Russian entrepreneur for use of its Peppa Pig and Daddy Pig marks. The suit was dismissed by the Arbitration Court of the Kirov region in a decision published on March 3, 2022. The presiding judge specifically cited the economic sanctions imposed by the United States and other European countries as grounds for ruling the case was an abuse of right and thus subject to dismissal. Following this ruling, trademark applications have already been filed in Russia that clearly copy famous brands like McDonald's and Starbucks. Russian officials continue to discuss and implement additional legal measures that further erode protections for foreign intellectual property and other assets. Russia's President, Vladimir Putin, has declared he will seek authorization for his government to seize assets owned by foreign businesses that leave Russia. The effects of such seizures could be substantial, particularly in light of the multinational corporations that have temporarily halted operations in Russia, including Disney and Coca-Cola. For example, new Russian legislation has authorized the seizure of leased foreign airplanes for domestic use, resulting in the confiscation of over $12 billion in assets. Other Russian officials have discussed authorizing the use of trademarks owned by brands that have limited or depleted supplies in Russia, or to seize manufacturing facilities related to key industries, such as automotive giants Ford and General Motors. Further, Russian lawmakers have stated plans to draft legislation authorizing compulsory licensing of software and circuitry technology originating in countries imposing sanctions on Russia, which would result in the de facto legalization of copyright infringement. These policies, taken as a whole, present significant risks to the intellectual property rights of owners residing and doing business in the United States, Europe, and other Western nations and may result in the loss of valuable IP assets with no remedy available to rights holders.
Today is International Women's Day, a special holiday throughout the world. What would happen if North Korea abolished all copyright laws and withdrew from all international intellectual property treaties? Could copyright be used as a weapon against the United States? I'm going to explore this possibility. I am standing in front of the North Korean embassy in Moscow, Russia. An embassy that represents a besieged country which has been aggressively bullied and oppressed by the United States for decades. The United States has created sanctions that have caused major damage to the economy of North Korea. What can a small country like North Korea do? In 2016, the U.S. Commerce Department released a comprehensive report entitled Intellectual Property and the U.S. Economy. The study found that intellectual property-intensive industries support at least 45 million U.S. jobs and contribute more than $6 trillion to the economy. The report even went so far as to say that 38% of America's gross domestic product is in intellectual property. North Korea can stand up to the United States by attacking 38% of the American economy. This can be done by abolishing copyright. What would happen? North Korea could then proclaim to the world that there is no copyright in North Korea, and they would warmly welcome any online piracy. Secret servers could be installed in the country to build a library of all of the world's knowledge. A YouTube with every movie and television show ever created. A library of every book ever written, all connected by Wikipedia collective site, connecting the sum of all human knowledge. In short, a modern-day seventh wonder of the world, a contemporary library of Alexandria. The more intellectual property and copyright law is weakened abroad, the weaker America is economically and therefore militarily. This will succeed because every person, organization, and country has an Achilles heel. The larger the country, the bigger the Achilles heel. I am now walking into the North Korean embassy and going to give them a packet explaining and expounding on this powerful idea. This is Travis Bailey at the North Korean embassy in Moscow, Russia. Today is International Women's Day, a special holiday throughout the world. Letter to President Putin's Inner Circle, August 5th, 2020.
Washington, D.C. Moscow, Russia plus Russian Federation, moscowamerican.com, moscowamerican@gmail.com. August 5th, 2020. My name is Travis Lee Bailey. Some background on who I am. I am a Washington, D.C. lawyer living here in Moscow for approximately the past 3 years. My career ambitions are two-pronged. First, I either will work for a Russian think tank such as the Russian Institute for Strategic Studies, RSS, in consulting or writing policy papers on how Russia can subvert the United States economically. Alternatively, we will create our own state-sanctioned Russian think tank to abolish copyright in Russia, among other activities. According to Russian academics, you are influential with President Vladimir Putin. Therefore, the reason I am writing you is that I want to make a policy suggestion. I propose that the Russian Federation abolishes copyright. The more copyright law is weakened abroad, the weaker America is economically and therefore militarily. In 2016, the U.S. Commerce Department released a comprehensive report entitled Intellectual Property and the U.S. Economy, 2016 Update, which found that intellectual property-intensive industries support at least 45 million U.S. jobs and contribute to more than $6 trillion, 38% of U.S. gross domestic product, GDP. This study points to the fact that Russia can cripple the United States by abolishing copyright. Travis Lee Bailey, ESQ. Page 2. On Saturday, January 11, 2020, I was blessed to meet the founder of SciHub, Russian citizen Alexandra Elbakyan. Ms. Elbakyan has created an illegal pirated database of all of the research papers ever written. It is estimated that 80% of all of the world's research papers are on the SciHub webpage. This database has not only revolutionized science by freeing the monopoly of information that the United States holds, it has crippled the Americans' academic industry. SciHub can be expanded. The Russian Federation has earmarked 2 billion rubles to this URL to create Russia's own Wikipedia. Without copyright, this Wikipedia could be the modern-day Library of Alexandria, catapulting Russian science and prestige on the world stage. I strongly suggest that you consult with Ms. Elbakyan on this project. I would also be happy to assist in any way possible. In this time of radical change in the government this month, I wish you and your staff only my best wishes. Sincerely, Travis Lee Bailey, ESQ.